This is all they have to offer.
Kid Rock.
It is culture war bullshit.
Great.
So they made this big deal about being anti-woke, but they spend all their time talking and thinking, all their behavior is driven towards the whiniest culture war shit you've ever heard in your life, like worse than any woke person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They will climb mountains to make some sort of cultural point, and it's because they have nothing to offer people at all. So this is it. This is it.
They don't even have art and culture. Can you imagine being MAGA and like every musician you might like hates your guts?
You tear down the house, then you put up the rent. You pocket the cash, and you crush all dissent.
Hello and welcome to the Red Tennis Shoes, where we cover...
Run the ball! Why don't you run the ball?
Where we cover all the major stories...
Another throwing play!
All the major stories in the world of sports. My name is Simone.
And I'm JP.
And the funny thing about that is that the streaker who was on the field last night got more yards than the Patriots did.
This guy knows how to run the ball!
Yeah, the security is slower than the Seahawks defense, though. Actually, it took a player to take the streaker down because they were like, "This is taking forever."
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, they called him a rocket scientist. The announcer, I thought that was funny
because they always have to denigrate the streakers.
I guess so.
They won't even show them on the live feed.
I know. I mean, why am I even watching if you're not going to show me what I'm here for?
I think that you misunderstand the sport. So yeah, it was the Super Bowl.
How many times are you going to let him sack the quarterback? You got to protect the quarterback.
The quarterback was very sweet. Said he was feeling very proud of himself and his team.
Oh, that's cute.
The young people are okay.
He's like, what? I mean,
at least
we went out there, we did our best, and I'll always remember this.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite memories of all time.
Except for the traumatic brain injuries. He might not actually.
That's true.
Remember it. But
oh my god. The worst part about this is that if the Patriots had won, it would be further humiliating to Belichick. And I basically lived to see Belichick humiliated. So
I don't think someone who has no shame can be humiliated.
Did you see that his girlfriend was wearing a shirt that referenced the massage parlor where Kraft went to get his rocks off?
I did not, but I do think it's important. It's very critical that we use our platform to remind everyone that Kraft is a loser piece of shit creep. And
Epstein offered Kraft his lawyer when he got in trouble.
Kraft has to be in some of these Epstein files. It's just a matter of time. I mean, why were they speaking to each other about lawyers if they weren't connected around sexual deviance and getting away with things that rich people apparently get to get away with?
Yep. Wouldn't surprise me.
Speaking of humiliation of those with no shame, Tom Brady made a cameo in an ad last night.
Oh, what kind of ad?
It was Ben Affleck's Dunkin' Donuts ad, but Ben Affleck was pretending to be Matt Damon from Good Will Hunting.
Okay.
And Tom showed up at the end with Jennifer Aniston. It was basically all cameos, but they made all of them look like their younger parts.
How's that humiliating? It sounds like a great ad.
Well, Tom Brady's not a very good actor. The ad was...
That's true.
The ad was...
But everyone likes Good Will Hunting.
You know, Tom Brady knows how to hang out with the people who have good self-deprecating humor, but he himself is not very good pulling it off. The ad was fine. It also had Ted Danson. It had all these people from like they had their best moments in the 90s and aughts, and then they like CGI'd them into looking younger.
Oh, I see. That's strange.
I mean, Duncan does a good ad, if you ask me.
I missed all this, by the way, because when there's important sports events, JP does all the bedtime, so Simone can watch the sports.
I did several bedtimes last night, though.
That's true.
Another ad I think worth noting featured our friend Rob Gronkowski.
Gronk.
And it was also kind of self-deprecating because his ad was about getting your prostate checked.
Oh, really?
I actually thought this was good. So it had all of this like...
What a role model.
These like sports people like doing like relaxation things.
Uh-huh.
And then like some coach was like, I got my prostate checked. Good thing I did because, if I hadn't. And then they showed a bunch of butts like relaxing, including Rob's, unclenching. Unclench. Relax.
Like with tights on?
Yeah, like man butts. Like
Okay.
one had khakis on, one had like tights on. Just and the whole ad is it's called "Relax Your Tight End" is the name of it. And they're trying to be like this is easier than a blood check, so like relax your tight end
I see.
for so you don't have yourself die.
That's very good role modeling.
No, I like that one. I thought that one was clever. Oh, the coach is Bruce Arians, in case you need to know. So that's Gronk's butt.
Okay.
But we have a lot to cover in
That's
the.
what's been missing from the Super Bowl for the last few years is Brock's butt.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know why people are tuning in anymore.
By the way, so we're going to do a new thing.
We're doing other than they know, we're doing a sports show.
Besides that, we are going to start, our episodes have been verging on 2 hours, so we're going to start releasing.
So instead of talking less.
We're going to start talking less. We're going to give you the same amount of content, but we're going to break it up into 2 separate episodes each week. So we'll start the week with a horrible headlines episode, probably releasing Monday night or early Tuesday. We'll see. Followed by an artifact episode later in the week, probably Thursday, Wednesday night, Thursday, something like that. We're going to try this and see if it works. I think this will make the schedule a little bit more manageable. And also, I think will give us some breathing room for treating each one thing with more like respect.
So now that JP has explained that in a very long-winded fashion, I think the short thing is we can talk more and release 2 one-hour episodes instead of talking less and releasing 1 1-hour episode. And you have to listen to both of them each week. Correct?
Something like that, although I'm hoping it'll be about the same amount of content.
And what's the prize for the listener that actually listens to every single Red Diaper Pail episode?
The prize is a year's free subscription to the Red Diaper Pail.
Okay. It's self-reported, too. It's self-reported.
Tell all of your friends. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Like our content. Share it, please. All that stuff really helps.
It does.
All right. On to the sports.
Okay. We're doing this. It's a busy time in the world of sports.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, we're just going to talk about the Olympics and the Super Bowl, though, because I'm actually not following that much sports these days.
You know what they say about sports ball? It's for the goy cattle.
That is what Epstein says about sports ball. And we said, you know what? We got to do an episode for the goy cattle.
Mm-hmm.
Those are mostly our listeners.
Yeah, you posted something that proves that our children are not being raised as goy cattle, which I'm very proud of.
Oh my God, they could care less about watching sports. It's really disappointing to me.
Yeah, well.
We had a Simone family get together yesterday, and luckily there's some
sports on. Yeah, they had a little sports ball to gather together.
We'll watch anything, but it's nice when it's actually something people want to watch. But like, yeah, we're gonna sit in a room together with a little sports on. I don't know we'll put anything on.
Gotta have some slop for the goy cattle.
Okay, I really think you should stop calling my family cattle. So let's do the Olympics.
Okay.
Olympics happening.
Is this summer or winter?
Depends on where you are in the world.
Okay. Which hemisphere?
Just it's the Winter Olympics in Italy.
Okay.
And that means they're doing like the skiing and the skating. And the one thing where they use the guns.
The shooting?
Yeah.
Why is that a winter thing? Oh, because
it was a ski.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So JD Vance is attending the Olympics along with his ice entourage. And that's not a reference to it being the Winter Olympics. And they don't like him over there.
They don't.
No.
And they're like pretty much a crypto-fascist country, so that tells you something.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of protests outside the Olympic venues because the people are like, as always, whenever the Olympics come to a city, they completely ruin everything. They like bring in really cheap labor. They make terrible environmental decisions. They build things that they can't sustain. It's bad all around. But so maybe there's people protesting in Italy who are in fact anti-fascist, but he was booed during all of the things he was at. I
feel really bad for him.
What about his wife?
I actually do kind of feel bad for her, although she had to know what she was marrying.
You'd think.
Absolutely believes in nothing, principleless, grifter.
Yeah. Well, he was booed, and then he was like, I'm gonna try to help myself out here. I'm gonna sit next to Jake Paul and really up my image.
We're gonna raise the overall IQ of this here pairing.
Yeah. So then they watched women's ice hockey together. They sat down next to each other. Usha, Jake Paul, and then JD Vance. Jake was in the middle
God.
because Usha was probably like, "Can you please get me away from this man? I've had to spend way too much time with him this week."
Oh my God. Can you imagine sitting next to Jake Paul? What
I'm
would you
sure he
talk
wouldn't
about?
talk to the woman. So yes, Jake Paul and JD Vance were both booed, I guess, collectively booed when they were at the hockey game. Jake Paul's there because his fiance is now a gold medalist speed skater, very accomplished speed skater. So, and JD Vance also has a quite accomplished wife. So maybe they discuss the accomplishments of their partners.
Yeah, somehow being more famous than people that are way more talented than them they're married to.
Yeah.
Will be married to.
Somehow, I think they maybe didn't discuss that. That might have been a little bit threatening. Jake Paul, an important athlete of our time.
Yeah, the most famous fake boxer in American history.
And he also, I think, has an important take on Bad Bunny this week.
He does, yes. Was not excited for the halftime show and asked about it, and then made a tweet, I guess, about how Bad Bunny's not a real American, a fake American, and then spent the rest of the day trying to walk back what he meant by this.
Well, and Logan Paul, who I guess is the better brother, but also distanced himself from that comment.
Yeah, Logan's just not quite as stupid because Logan managed to remember that the Pauls live in Puerto Rico. They literally moved there as a tax haven. I guess Logan was like, dude, we're going to get back to Puerto Rico and our mansion's going to be burnt down.
They're not going to let us back in. Well, it's through the airport. Wow, that's talk about how disgusting, how dumb and disgusting you have to be.
Yeah, so of course, like, he spent the whole day walking about, and eventually the next day he was like, oh, I don't know what happened on my Twitter yesterday, but I actually love Bad Bunny.
Wait, the which one?
Jake.
Jake's Twitter was taken over?
Jake got carried away because he thought, well, we're all doing this thing where, like, you have to be white to be a real American. And most people are rightly horrified by anything that smells of that. So he had to walk this back. It's all ideology. It's not race. Just to be clear. Puerto Ricans are Americans as long as they love America.
So Logan Paul is the smarter brother.
Slightly.
So is this the time for another traumatic brain injury joke for me or no? I think you're the resident expert on the Paul brothers and their boxing career. Who started off as the boxer?
Logan Paul.
Okay, and then he recruited his younger brother in?
Yeah, if I recall correctly, there was a bunch of YouTube boxing matches set up.
Indeed.
Where Logan Paul was the headliner and Jake Paul was to, like, fight the younger brother of whoever Logan Paul was fighting.
Great.
But then Jake Paul sort of took to it and Logan Paul didn't.
Oh, so Logan Paul no longer boxes.
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, not anything that's on the same level of.
Yeah, that second born is probably going to be the better boxer, in my experience.
That's been your experience?
Well, I think that the firstborn or the older brother is more likely to be,
Wow, this is stupid. Why would I do this?
And the younger is like, I'll beat the shit out of that. Thank you.
I see.
Yeah,
I guess.
And they mostly just boxed like what other acting boxers or real boxers.
So they boxed some YouTube people.
Well, these were boxing YouTube people, or you like Mr. Beast?
Like Mr. Beast. It was.
They boxed YouTube personalities.
Yes.
And they were like, oh my gosh, we're better boxers than YouTube personalities. We should have a career in this.
Well,
That's also how the woman became a speed skater.
Jake Paul
she did some speed skating against some YouTube personalities and realized she was quite
fast. Right, exactly. Jake Paul has fought like he went to some real professional boxers, but it was like he started with a YouTuber, slam dunk champion.
A slam dunk champion is not going to be a good boxer.
He did some like welterweight and middleweight UFC champions, which is ridiculous. Because they're grapplers, right? And this all culminated with him fighting Mike Tyson, who was very, very old when they fought. And I guess that meant, and then he beat an actual middleweight champion. But Jake Paul is a heavyweight, so he beat a bunch of middleweight champions. And then he fought a 2-time heavyweight champion named Anthony Joshua. That was the most recent one where he looked like terrified of being in the ring and got absolutely destroyed. So that's the end of his career, because it's now obvious that if he fights a professional boxer of the same class, it's like watching someone beat up a kindergartner.
Well, you got me to the segue I was trying to get you to get me to.
Oh, good.
Mike Tyson.
You're just trying to get me to say the words Mike Tyson the whole time. Oh, God.
But here we are. Mike Tyson had a moment last night. So last night was the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
We will obviously discuss the important part of the Super Bowl, which was the Bad Bunny halftime show. But we're gonna start with Mike Tyson.
That's the only reason anyone watches.
As one would. If Mike Tyson had an ad, certainly we're gonna discuss the Mike Tyson ad.
Uh-huh.
You missed it because you were doing bedtime.
I did, yes.
I was watching it with our two of our children, and I was like, so that's Mike Tyson. So already I have concerns. But he's talking about obesity and fat people in a really denigrating way. He was talking about himself and how he was talking about how he would eat anything and it was disgusting and he was overweight and he called the American population either pudgy or fudgy, and they kept showing him just close-ups of his face, aggressively eating apples. And the kids were like, what the heck is that? And I was like, this is not how we talk about people's bodies. All bodies are good. Except for maybe Mike Tyson's. But it was a Maha ad. It was a Make America Healthy Again ad.
Yeah.
So RFK has a spin-off campaign, I guess, in which they are going to tell Americans to eat real food. That was the tagline.
Yeah.
And they went with Mike Tyson as their spokesperson.
Yeah. They don't seem to have any kind of, as long as you're on their side, it doesn't matter what you've done, what you've said, who you've hurt. Everything's forgiven as long as you, it's kind of amazing to me because this is the kind of thing, if Mike Tyson came out as critical, they'd be calling him an animal and they'd be dredging up every law he's ever broken, every person he's hurt. But
yeah, I mean, Mike Tyson is a despicable human being. I mean, probably he does actually have traumatic brain injuries, and maybe that's partially why he's a despicable human being. But he is not a spokesperson. But then they wrote him an ad that was kind of played into his sort of meanness of character, because it was a very shaming ad, I felt, the way it was written. And I guess it's against processed food. I don't know what they're actually doing about that, but they're certainly, making the youth of America feel shame about their bodies.
You were not going to believe. So Tyson went to jail for raping an 18-year-old. Can you guess who his lawyer was?
Alan Dershowitz.
Alan Dershowitz.
Oh, I'm so good at guessing.
We know you're a convicted rapist. This could hurt his campaign. How would you respond to that? Hey, I don't know who said that. You're the only one I heard say that. You know what I mean? And I don't have no comment to that, because it's negative and you're being negative. And I met the mayor, right, and nothing they can do about it.
We actually had a really good time. We talked about George Cervallo, who was a legend in your city, great man with whom Mike spent quite a bit of time yesterday talking about his life, highs and lows.
So interesting that you come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit.
Hey,
with that comment.
Come on.
No, that was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit.
We're doing live TV.
Hey, I don't care. What are you gonna do about it?
All right, you got a show that you're doing tonight. We are.
A lot of people.
We are. Where it comes raw and it's the real truth.
Yeah, a lot of people
are going to
be there to see your show. Just tell us a bit about it. It speaks for itself. Everyone saw the show.
All right. It's a Broadway production. It went to Vegas. It went to actually 28 cities in the United States. And we're really, really proud to bring it here. And we're actually going to Monaco on October 9th. We're going to be in Monte Carlo.
Right. Is it nerve-wracking for you to do something like this, or is it more nervous for you to box? How does it compare? I don't know. It's more nerve-wracking for me to hear talking to a rat piece of shit like you. Come on, Mike. No, because you're a piece of shit.
So, I mean, more Mike Tyson quotes from this ad. Americans, we're the most powerful country in the world, but we're full of the most obese, fudgy people. And then recalling himself when he was overweight. I was, quote, fat and nasty. Quote, so full of self-hate, quote, that I wanted to kill myself.
Oh my God.
This is what our children heard last night. And they both were like really, they were taken by the I wanted to kill myself because I was fat line.
Yeah.
And then an aggressive apple eating, and then a maha on the screen.
Jeez. So what is the point of this? The point of this is that is this like an anti-woke thing where we're back to shaming people for being fat?
That's what it certainly seemed like to me.
Is there a reason? Is it we need Americans to be fit again because they have to go to war / work harder / I don't know, not be the consumer class of the world anymore?
Maybe it's we just want to be able to be mean about people's bodies.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just as simple as maybe the woke people will bite on this and start talking again about how beautiful at any size stuff, and they can sort of have another culture war issue.
Yeah, or maybe they just want an excuse for more meanness and cruelty.
Just put it out in the world. And
Yeah, it was a pretty disgusting ad.
I mean, none of this stuff has any policy implications. It's all, you should just make better choices.
Well, that's the thing. I was like, what is this Maha ad even promoting? And it's really just promoting like basically the Trump brand and the RFK Jr. brand. I mean, they've got some suggestions like eat more fruits and vegetables, and he's got other suggestions like Tylenol causes autism, and he's fucked up the vaccine schedule. But that's it. Like there's no.
Are they going to go after all the companies that are pushing this food that makes you sick and makes you?
I think if they did that, then the president of the United States wouldn't have anything to eat.
That is simultaneously amazing, which is like you have probably the example of the worst diet in the world of a man who apparently is going to live forever. And at the same time, so many liberals are just can't wait to harp on his weight. Yeah. I don't understand. I never understood that. Like, yeah.
Well, let's jump around a little bit.
Okay, let's. You want to lead me to?
I'm leading you right there. Serena Williams on Roe. That was another big ad line.
So the connection here is another black athlete peddling something that offends you?
No, that's the connection I was going with. Well, I will also say that Dove did their body positivity ad in which they featured young black female athletes and they featured their joy because girl athletes quit something like one out of every 2 girl athletes who quit their sport do so because of body shaming and body image. So
but the implication is what, that they don't want all those people looking at their body, or because the body you need for sports makes them ashamed?
I think the implication being like, yeah, you don't want people looking at your body, people comment on your body, the strength of your body, how it's a much more vulnerable. It's very vulnerable to be a preteen, teenager, going through puberty, female athlete. I mean,
yeah.
Being, having to perform athletically is vulnerable. Having your body on display is vulnerable. So we did have like the more, I guess the more progressive coded ad, which Dove brought us.
Okay.
And then we had Serena Williams with she's shared this before. She's on Roe, which is a GLP-1 drug.
Yeah, she said she is anyway.
And she's being very forward with how this is making her, that she's had weight loss, 36 pounds, very specifically, and how it's making her joints feel better and her body and mind feel better, and she's feeling very empowered by it.
One of the things I respected her for in her career was that people had a tendency to like talk a lot about her body, and she didn't seem to have any shame about it. The constant comments about her weight and her musculature. And
yeah, I think these two things can be true at once. I think she can not have given in to shame and body shame and stuff like that when she was of a heavier weight, and also have positive feelings about being at a lower weight with drugs.
Sure.
I mean, Oprah also has came out really strongly, like sort of pro these drugs and how it's changed her life. And I don't want to judge that, but I feel a certain sort of way when people who have a lot of money and a big platform use how their bodies have changed and how those body changes happen to align with like what beauty standards are to promote like what is essentially the off-label use of a drug. Alarm bells. Alarm bells are happening.
Mm-hmm. The thing that wigs me out is like, you imagine her sitting down with Roe people. And she's like, what if, how are you sure there's not going to be long-term side effects? This new drug. And they say, how about 7 million?
I know.
But I don't want to tell people to do something that's going to hurt them. Like, after 20 years of taking it, how about 8 million?
Well, I know. I mean, there's definitely some large amounts of money changing hands.
And they definitely needed. They needed a woman athlete, that someone who could credibly talk about
strength and empowerment,
right? And obviously cares about their own body in a way that's not like they're not sacrificing themselves for a beauty standard, right? So it was a perfect endorsement for the company.
It is. It's a very good endorsement, and I'm pretty like accepting about people's choices with how they deal with their own bodies, and how they even do it with like better living through chemicals or medical choices. The GLP-1 drugs are really being heavily used at this point, and I am a little concerned about long term. But this is the part that gets me. It seems like the story here is that people who sort of chronically feel like they're just above the weight they want to be. Like Serena Williams was performing at an extremely high athletic level. Clearly her body was performing extremely well. So she might say she wasn't at the weight she wanted to be. She might say it was a little bit harder because she had a few more extra pounds on. But there's no one could possibly say that she wasn't operating at like excellence.
Yeah.
She sort of basically is reporting like I couldn't get lower. I couldn't get the weight down without this assistance, and the assistance has really shifted how my body operates, and I really am enjoying how it is. Fine, whatever. But what is that? How do you explain that to your daughter? So let's say I'm at a weight that's higher than what I want to be, and I'm also have had weights that are higher than I want them to be, but also feel like kind of my the weight I like stay around.
Uh-huh.
And if it was lower, I would look better according to my beauty standards.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm going to explain to my daughter that in order to hit the number that is the most optimal for looking or even feeling, you have to be on a medicine for the rest of your life to reset your norm. Because your actual norm, the one that you're kind of like your life and your lifestyle and the way your body is, the one you're going to end up at, that's not good enough. You actually need medical intervention daily to be at the better weight.
Yeah.
Like I just literally can't justify. I could not, even though I would freaking love to be at the lower weight, like really would. I would actually consider going on the drug just to do it because that's how my brain is fucking wired.
Yeah.
How could I explain that to our daughter?
Well, I'll play the devil's advocate a little bit, although I am uncomfortable with all this because I feel like there's two conversations to be had about fatness, which is the social stigma and oppression, and then the health component.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that the wokeness has done is has conflated the two.
Yeah.
And there is absolutely, like, most of the conversation about fatness in society has absolutely nothing to do with health. Even when people are talking about health as a proxy for talking what they're really talking about, which is what the beauty standards should be, and all of the stuff that goes with this, like ideas about discipline and control and value as a person, all these things.
Yep.
This seems to me to be about purely beauty standards. Like, this is not a health drug. And I think it probably is, like, if you are chronically morbidly obese, it probably is very easy to get the drug because you can make a health argument.
I know, but they deliberately put in these lines like my joints feel better because they're trying to tell you, at least Serena Williams' ad is trying to at least lean you towards this is a health choice.
Right. But like Serena Williams is the obvious case where she was not unhealthy.
Right.
She was not. This is not something that's saving her life from a illness or something like that. It is purely for like to approach a beauty standard thing.
Well, and maybe also to feel more energetic and like less creaky in her joints.
Is she energetic? Well, when she was at the prime of the entire tennis career, she wasn't. She was feeling sluggish.
The story she's telling is that postpartum and as you age, and like it was just very difficult to manage the weight, which I guess is also possibly true.
I mean, that's what I'm going to say about playing the devil's advocate is like your body and nervous system are not built to compete with modern advertisers, all this junk food, right? And you do all kinds of things to like take care of your appearance throughout your entire life. You use lotion and face cream and makeup, and I use face cream every day. So I'm not picking on you.
I'm starting to use some lotions because the aging thing is real. Turns out.
I never thought I would be aging, but apparently it does happen to you regardless.
We are aging. It would appear.
You know, and down the line, like whitening toothpaste and deodorant. Like use all these products. There's a certain people want to look their best. I am worried about the long-term consequences of this drug. And I am also worried about what I expect will happen actually is that this will become so prevalent that people won't think much of using it. Mm-hmm. And then what will happen is beauty standards will shift because beauty standards really reflect what is difficult to obtain. Well, and in this society, what's difficult to obtain is like a supermodel's figure because you're contending with real life and stress and cortisol and all these brightly colored packages. And
I actually agree with you, but let's say I have the same body type as our daughter. Mm-hmm. And the weight that I can hang out around pretty comfortably is 185. But 140 is would be much better from like a beauty standards point of view. Mm-hmm. So I go on the drug so I could be closer to 140, 150 as I age beautifully and gracefully. And she grows up and she's like 20 years old and she's like, well, I'm really 185 is where I'm going to end up, which looks now nothing like my mother. Because my entire life, my mother's been 40 pounds lighter because she's on GLP-1.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with me? If she's already made that choice, then I guess I have to make that choice too. Like, it just feels...
I mean, you are setting your kids up to be like, obviously I'd be on this drug, right? Because otherwise I have to deal with my own.
And their bodies are very... it's highly likely they're going to look like ours or function like ours or have similar genetics to this. I don't know. Anyways.
It's sticky.
Okay. One other commercial we should talk about, and you actually got to see this.
I did, yeah.
Was the product that is been developed to return all the lost dogs. Are you familiar with this product?
Yes. That's why they originally created it, I think.
Yeah, the Ring doorbell. I'm pretty sure they don't even make a profit. I think they just install Ring doorbells for free. So all neighborhood dogs can always be surveilled and returned home.
So we have not the Ring, we have the Google version of it. And I got it because I thought it would be helpful to, like, if someone was at our house and rang, we could say, oh, we're not here right now, blah, blah, blah. The connection is so horrible that it's absolutely impossible to have a conversation through it. The only utility is to record and then look back later at everything.
But you have to pay to really look back. Yeah. So when we are like,
we have to pay.
Which vermin is eating our trash off our trash porch? We can't even look because it's like, oh, sorry, that was too long ago, all 6 hours ago. I'm sure that Google has complete surveillance. So yeah. So
Google's almost certainly keeping a full record of this, and they can tell if it's a person. They can tell if there's motion there.
This was crisis comms. I don't think the entire United States has shifted on Ring cameras, but there's a good percentage of people that are saying turn off your Ring camera, partially because Ring cameras are working with ICE, but turn off your camera. Do not surveil your entire life. They're stealing your data. They're using it against you. They're creating databases that the military and the police forces will use at best. At worst, at best, like, I guess private capital gets them and just tries to sell you more shit. So there's been a backlash against this kind of surveillance. And clearly they were like, we have to make a commercial that tries to find something good about this product.
Right.
And they basically made up a story about how it returns lost dogs. It was wild.
It's probably pretty funny to have the brainstorming session of, like, because we turned our feed off because we realized that the only thing it was doing was surveying our neighbors and guests and us, and there's absolutely no reason for us to be giving surveillance data to Google that we can't even access ourselves.
That's surveillance capital at its best. The data, we take your data and then we make your data not for you.
It had absolutely no utility for us at all. So I guess they had to sit in a brainstorming session and see, how do we convince people that it's a social good for them to turn these cameras back on?
Yeah, explain this to me. So we all turn our cameras back on, and then what? We all pay for the services, so we get access to our own data. And then when a dog goes missing, we assign a community liaison to go through all the footage.
Yeah, or
do I get to call Ring?
I guess,
and be like, is a golden retriever lost from this block? Send the ICE agents to retrieve the dog.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me actually of, like, this. The UK seems to have this obsession with the closed circuit cameras, and I guess the deal they made with the body politic or whatever it is, we're not going to have police with guns and stuff and over policing because we're gonna have so many cameras that it's impossible to get away with any crime. So we'll just catch you afterwards, and that will reduce crime. In our case, they didn't do that, so we're gonna have even worse, which is instead of the government do it, we're gonna have these fucking private companies do it. And nightmare scenario.
I'm pretty sure CCTV is probably privatized heavily in the UK, but go on. It's a nightmare scenario.
The Panopticon is coming.
The Panopticon's here, but I think that maybe we'll never have a lost dog.
Yeah, sure.
That's what I understood.
Sure.
I'll be calling.
No, you'll be able to see your lost dog.
I call?
For an hour and a half after it's passed by someone's camera, you'll be able to see footage of it running by.
Yeah. You'll go see your lost dog get shot by an ICE agent. Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Sorry. I mean, that's where, I called the Palantir CEO and asked them to look for my dog. Like, what? I mean, it's deranged. That commercial was deranged.
Yeah. And everyone seemed to have had the right reaction to it, which is like, you think I'm a fucking idiot? So good luck to them.
Okay, let's go from ads to sports. The actual sports.
The actual sports. And by that, you mean the halftime show.
And by that, I mean the halftime show. I have very little to say about the actual sports, other than I missed, I think, every single score except for the first field goal because of the children. But what I did not miss was the halftime show.
Oh yeah, I missed most of it, but I heard it was one of the best of all time.
Is that what people are saying?
Trump is saying it's the best ever.
Yeah, Trump loved it. Trump says, like, I don't know what language this is, but this should be the national language. So Bad Bunny.
You should invite Bad Bunny to the White House, and I'm sure after they spend 5 minutes together, he'd be saying that Bad Bunny is the best person he ever met, and that we should all be speaking Spanish.
I mean, Bad Bunny does seem to be a good time. I watched Bad Bunny doing some car karaoke last night when I couldn't sleep. He seems he has had a lot of charisma.
He's like the most popular music artist in the world or something, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's American.
And he's American, which, like, the discourse on X about this is baffling. I think on, like, intentionally, but everyone wants to call him an immigrant or an illegal immigrant even, and not American. Puerto Rico is, of course, part of America, and then you point that out, and they say, well, that's just a technicality that should be corrected. And the response to that is, you being a citizen is a technicality we need to fucking correct as soon as possible.
Yeah. Also, Puerto Rico is a colonial project that the empire is holding on to.
Yeah.
So if you want to correct that, like, you're in favor of Puerto Rican independence, like, okay, me too.
No, but what they would say is, no, we should keep it, but all the people should be denied their citizenship.
Well, they do. They already have second-class citizenship, so I feel like they're already the shitheads are already winning.
Yeah, they don't get to vote in any U.S. elections. Right?
But you can claim having the most successful and most popular musical artist.
All right,
So Bad Bunny, I thought it was a great show.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was definitely one of my favorite halftime shows that I've seen. I thought the performance and the vibe and the artistry and the feel of it was joyful and honoring certain American experiences that are not often honored, which is of course why Trump hated it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
it glorified working class migrant labor and the labor that built America, and they want to pretend none of that ever happened. And it was all like Titans of Industry.
And it did it with these little vignettes of joy and love and I don't know, solidarity is probably too strong of a word, but like,
well, Pan-American internationalism, you could say that.
Yeah, and working class joy, like, it was, people in fields and the little carts on the side of the street and weddings and dancing, and I thought, and a modest living room with a television and a family. I thought it was awesome. I loved watching it with the kids. Almost all the performers, I mean, Lady Gaga was there. All the performers were people of color or of Latinx descent. Obviously the music, and, it was in Spanish, which is, of course, why Trump was extremely upset. I thought it was great.
So what do you think of the NFL's decision to pick someone who's going to do an entirely Spanish halftime show?
I think it's a very clear example of how the dollar follows the audience, and the demographic angst of the MAGA people is real.
I think there's a reason for them to be worried.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, my take on it is like boomers are going to be dead soon.
Thank God. No offense, but also, I mean, thank God.
And the NFL needs to continue to exist with a viewership, and this is the people who watch football now.
Yeah.
Like, this is the future of the audience.
Certainly who they need. They need this audience.
I think it doesn't help to have something controversial to keep it in the zeitgeist. I think a lot of people watched it who would tune out if it was something more milquetoast and mainstream.
This is the second year in a row where the NFL chose to have an act that was actual artistry and was actually somewhat representative of groups of people who are not the cultureless, shithead, right wing,
Why are you saying this about Creed?
Goy cattle. I mean, clearly there was a lot of controls on that show. Like, Bad Bunny did not say anything that he was not supposed to say, even though he had said things about ICE at the Grammys a couple weeks before.
Yeah.
And Green Day did do some sort of pre-game show, and they also omitted their MAGA line from American Idiot, and also they censored out the Mind Fuck of America line. The artists were following some rules about what could be said,
which is interesting.
I mean, Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day did tell ICE agents to quit their jobs, which I was.
Yeah, and he took an interesting angle with it, which is these people are going to stab you in the back anyway. So what are you doing?
I mean, that's the angle you should take. I mean, you've got all these people, not the greatest people, signing up to be ICE agents. But what do they think? What is the end game here? Like, you're gonna lose, and we're gonna win. And the people that you think are your heroes who are signing your paychecks right now, where are they going to be?
In the meantime, they probably will get pardoned even if they do get convicted of doing anything wrong. But they're not gonna risk anything to do that. They're not gonna make any political sacrifices to save any of these people. And then when they're out of power,
yeah, fascists make terrible friends and allies.
Yeah, and Trump has proved this over and over again that if you turn on him in any way, even slightly, he's going to abandon you.
And even if you don't turn on him, even if it's just not useful, you're not useful to him anymore.
Yep.
Okay, so back to the Bad Bunny halftime show. I really liked it. It opened with all these people dressed up as fields, but there were sugarcane fields and people working the sugarcane fields, and then there was people playing games on the street, children on the street, younger people, older people with bodegas, getting the coconut off the cart. It just felt very representative of a lifestyle and culture that even I, to some extent, understand, can recognize.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, he was up on electricity poles, which I guess has to do with the power outages that plague Puerto Rico.
That's right, yeah. So Laura Loomer, who's probably the most grotesque person associated with the Trump White House, tweeted about that. First she tweeted, quote, "Illegal aliens and Latin hookers twerking at the Super Bowl. Not a single white person or English translation at the Super Bowl. This isn't white enough for me. Capital W, white. Can't even watch the Super Bowl anymore because immigrants have literally ruined everything."
Oh my gosh! Well, they did give her Lady Gaga.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is a Brianna Joy Gray joke, but Italian people no longer count as white. They've removed the white card. Laura Loomer has officially removed white card from Italians.
I feel like she just removed it from Lady Gaga.
No, it's it started with Luigi, and now it's completely gone. But then Laura Loomer tweeted what must be the stupidest thing I've ever read. It's kind of ironic how Bad Bunny was dancing on an electrical post at the Super Bowl halftime show. Puerto Rico isn't exactly known for having reliable electricity. He could have highlighted the electrical grid crisis in PR and done some good with his platform, but he chose degeneracy. Can you imagine being that?
Did you think he was bragging about their electricity?
I don't know. It's just because it's a pole, I guess, because it's a pole dancing reference.
Wow. I mean,
can you imagine being that dense that they literally are hitting you in the head with a symbol and you can't even?
Well, that's what happened a little bit with the last year's halftime show. Is that it was heavily symbolic and kind of overly symbolic, and yet it seemed completely undecipherable to most.
Yeah, well, these people, they have no appreciation for art. They have no artistic sensibilities. They think that every emotion besides rage and I guess nostalgia is gay. So they can't appreciate art on its own terms. We'll get into this when we talk about the TPUSA halftime show. But it's a bunch of losers who all they can do is tell you a story where you can make believe that you're the kind of guy who goes fishing and drinks beer. None of these people have ever fished in their life. Yeah. None of them have ever hunted in their life. They're all like the weirdest, like middle class, blank spaces you've ever seen in your life. But if they listen to a song where they get to close their eyes and make believe of this type of American that they are not, that barely exists, that is aggrieved, right? They can't even drink their beer without having to hear about trans kids. Then they can get mad at something. There's no artistry. They don't care about the background music. They just want to hear a bunch of words that allows them to get mad about something. That's it. That's all they got.
Yeah, I mean, when you do evaluations of kids' ability to be literate and fluent in language and be able to read, you look at skill sets like understanding of narrative arc and perspective taking with characters and all of these you have to assemble all these skills to actually be able to understand stories, not just be able to read stories. And it seems like there's a real crisis in that type of fluency in our culture.
Yeah, and it's
purposeful.
Yeah, it's purposeful. I mean, Charlie Kirk's famous empathy is overrated. Empathy is a made up liberal lie that they came up with 5 years ago. They don't want you to be able to perspective take, because if you can perspective take, then you have the internal defenses against what they're peddling. Right. They want you to understand that there's an absolute difference between you and me, and the only person you're supposed to understand is you, and then maybe people just like you, and that's it.
I mean, the side effect of that, and that's perhaps is it just an also positive outcome for them, is that you destroy storytelling, art, culture, metaphor. You've destroyed that. Creativity is destroyed by that. Yeah. Well, Bad Bunny is resistance in that case.
Yeah, I mean, all good art is resistance to a fascist mindset, because fascists can't feel sad about things. They can't feel longing and desperation and loss. None of these things are tolerable for a fascist mindset. You always have to feel that you're winning or that you're mad about someone who deserves to be punished.
Yeah, it's basically just like puff your chest out.
Yeah.
And then Bad Bunny also listed like every single country in the greater Americas and said like, we're better together.
Yeah.
Including Canada. So that was nice for Mark Carney to get a little call out.
Somehow the love trumps hate became proof to the MAGA set that they were planning a white genocide.
Yeah. So it's not a good look when you realize that you're against the line, only thing more powerful than hate is love.
The thing is, they know this is all a chance for them to continue to build this idea of what a real American is.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't care that it's contradictory and drives you crazy to hear people call Puerto Ricans not Americans, because that's the point, I think, is to make you go nuts, to say things that are obviously, like calling him an illegal immigrant this is now an epithet against people that they don't consider part of what, I guess, heritage America.
Yeah.
That is intentional. It's not misinformation. It's not that they're misinformed, it's they're trying to drive you crazy.
To get up there and perform the whole show in Spanish is a middle finger to the rest of America. Who gives a damn that we have 40 million Spanish speakers in the United States? We have 310 million who don't speak a lick of Spanish. This is supposed to be a unifying event for the country, not for the Latinos, not for one small group, but for the country. We don't need a black national anthem. We don't need a Spanish-speaking, non-English performer, and we don't need an ICE or America hater featured as our primetime entertainment.
Okay, what is the national language, officially the national language of the United States of America?
I mean, English. And there's been a push for many years to make it an official,
you don't have one.
Documented thing.
You don't have one.
If you would have let me finish my comment, I would have pointed that out, that people have been pushing to make it official.
Okay,
right,
so you're trying to make official.
This attitude that you have right here is why you in Great Britain have lost your culture. You ceded your culture to a bunch of radical Muslims who came in and took over, and now it's gone. We're not allowing that here. Whether it's Hispanic, whether it's Muslim, it's not happening in the United States of America. That's why President Trump was elected. And whether it's Bad Bunny, who is American but refuses to speak English in his performances, or anybody else, we have to keep the Super Bowl, which is a quintessential American event. Football, that kind of football, is ours. They call it American football. And the halftime show and everything around it needs to stay quintessentially American. Not Spanish, not Muslim, not anything other than good old-fashioned American apple pie. There should be a meatloaf, maybe some fried chicken, and an English-speaking performer. That's what the Super Bowl should be.
Yep, it is. They want. I mean, they also would like you to just believe the thing they're saying, because it's good for their agenda. If you walk around and if you see what you think is a white person, you think it's an American. If you see anything else, you don't think it's an American. For the people dumb enough to just buy the propaganda, that works for them too.
Mm-hmm.
I did hear rumors that X had like outages during the halftime show.
So this is a lie.
Oh, is it?
Believe it or not, I was watching this. All real Americans were watching the Turning Point USA halftime show,
which I heard that it was not well lip synced.
No, it was not well.
Like Kid Rock didn't know the words to his own song.
He wasn't singing. He moved the microphone from his face, and it would continue to go.
And perhaps because he forgot the lyrics to his own song, though.
Very possible. They moved it from X to YouTube. So all this stuff about X and how so many people were watching it that it broke X because it was such a popular halftime show. It wasn't on X, it was on YouTube.
Well, I thought that the X outages, because I saw people report X outages, was because X took it down because they didn't want people saying nice things about Bad Bunny.
Oh, that's...
Because you know how you watch the Super Bowl, I mean, at least back in the day when Twitter was in its heyday, you watch the Super Bowl and everyone just comments the whole time on Twitter about their ads in the halftime show.
Yeah.
So I thought it was like
That's possible.
the masses are saying positive things. Let's take it down.
Yeah, that's possible. There were people who were trying to claim that it was because of excitement about the Turning Point USA.
Oh,
but
I can't imagine that. I can't even imagine people who were like didn't like Bad Bunny, like had the wherewithal to switch to a different halftime show. It's like a big commitment.
this is all they have to offer.
Kid Rock.
It is culture war bullshit.
Great.
So they made this big deal about being anti-woke, but they spend all their time talking and thinking, all their behavior is driven towards the whiniest culture war shit you've ever heard in your life. Like worse than any woke person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They will climb mountains to make some sort of cultural point, and it's because they have nothing to offer people at all.
Well,
so this is it. This is like
they don't even have art and culture. Can you imagine being MAGA and like every musician you might like hates your guts?
yeah.
Like
So you have to be left with like the tasteless garbage that is Kid Rock.
I know.
Who by the way, like they were doing a tour with Creed. Creed dropped out because Kid Rock has a literal pedophilia song, celebrating statutory rape, glorifying statutory rape.
And Creed was like, we can't be part of this.
Yeah, because I think that is increasingly it's obvious that outrage about pedophilia with an appreciation for pedophilic tendencies or like a celebration of pedophilic tendencies is part of the ethos of MAGA. And it tells you is that the outrage about it that was Q was really about, as with everything else, it's not that you did it, it's that you are the wrong people. These are our girls to abuse, not your girls to abuse.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was a good halftime show. I think it's an interesting back to back from last year's halftime show with Kendrick Lamar. I think we are seeing, I don't know, a little bit of art and culture from the halftime show.
Yeah, and
Thanks to people of color,
right?
Largely.
Yeah, and it's honestly, I think it's important politically because what it says is that despite their bullying and their attempts to hijack the culture, and this is the thing that they've hated all this time, is regardless of how successfully they are politically, they have no mustard in the culture, the broader mainstream culture. They're still despised by most cultural figures, comedians, artists, musicians, culture makers, writers.
Yeah.
And they're not going to ever break through that.
Nope.
And I think that the NFL, not because they're principled, because they understand that the cultural winds are not blowing in their favor, is a sign that this is a paper-thin movement. And they probably have, like, their support has probably reduced itself to like 20%.
Yeah. I mean, that is why these folks are like rabidly chasing the culture war because it's so thin. They have so little. They need to try to manufacture something. I mean, if you don't have anything to offer economically, then you only have something to offer culturally. But if you're a fascist and a white nationalist, you don't have a lot to work with culturally.
Yeah.
And you don't get to there's no movement without art and culture. That's what Bad Bunny, I think, captured was like, this is people, real people working and living together, creating art, dancing, having joy. That's life.
Yeah.
And people want that. They want to be a part of that.
Yeah. And all great culture has its origins in working class themes and people and ideas and experiences. And that is especially true for America.
Yes. And of course, all that great art culture can be commodified by the NFL's halftime show. And it is, in fact, being so. So we're not pretending that we were watching some sort of artistic or sort of revolution last night.
No. It can be co-opted and commodified, but it cannot be created by.
That's right.
And that extends to AI. They cannot generate it. They cannot generate anything with anything of substance and depth. All of it is tasteless slop.
It's so funny because Claude had 2 commercials on last night where it's like the ads are coming to AI, but not to Claude.
Mm-hmm.
But Claude representing its AI in the commercials itself showed you how empty and meaningless an AI companion is. Like there's a guy working out and he asks if he can get a 6-pack quick, and they have an AI speaking to him. Oh, this is good. And they're speaking in AI lingo, which you can immediately detect as AI. Yeah. It's not that helpful, doesn't give you real information. And of course now it will also serve up an ad, but it's like in depicting the product, it was almost like they were making fun of the product because there's nothing there.
Yep.
I will say that I did do the woke mom thing, which Instagram was telling me to do, where I was like, isn't it interesting that this is the first primarily Spanish halftime show? What do you think about that? This person's from Puerto Rico. Do you know where that is? So I did the whole thing that Instagram, my progressive Instagram mom accounts told me to do.
Mm-hmm.
The kids loved it though.
Yep.
And they were like, one of them goes, I showed them where Puerto Rico was on the map, and they're like, that's not in the United States. And I'm like, actually.
Wouldn't you know it?
Yeah. And I said, what do you think that it's all in Spanish? And they were like, well, I think it's important that it's in different languages. And, you know.
Yep. I mean, the kids don't mind. The kids are all right.
I know. And our neighborhood kid who comes over every day came over and he was singing all the lyrics to the Bad Bunny songs. It's pretty good Spanish. I will go right back to the Olympics for just a moment. Trump called one of our skiers a loser.
Yeah, which is a funny thing to say to someone who's
an Olympic athlete. Yeah, he's
not losing that much.
He said Hunter Hess was a real loser after, I mean, you know, you could imagine why he'd be so mad, because Hunter Hess had the gall when asked specifically about what's going on in the United States right now. He said, and I quote, it brings up, quote, mixed emotions, end quote. And sometimes it's, quote, a little hard, end quote. And, quote, there's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I'm paraphrasing, but I'm here representing my friends and family from back home, and that's what I'm going to focus on.
Yeah.
How horrifying that this young man would say such un-American garbage.
Yeah.
I think that the president of the United States should absolutely call him a real loser.
Jake Paul went after him too. Your boy.
Paul. I mean, you know, Jake Paul and Hunter Hess should box, and we should see who's best.
This is another example of many examples where they're going to say it's un-American to criticize America. So if Hunter Hess says this same quote during Biden's administration, he gets celebrated by these people because they don't actually care about glorifying the nation. What they care about is the content of the politics. But they always hide behind they fall back to like a formal critique as opposed to a content or critique.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. They're hypocrites and absurdists and fascists.
Yeah.
And
they don't want to be asked as to what exactly, they don't want to be forced to talk about the content of it because it's objectionable. So you can't criticize it or you're un-American. It's the same with the Iraq War. You can't criticize it or you're un-American. But
I mean, this is an old playbook.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's the sports ball. This was the first and last episode of the Red Tennis Shoes.
We'll see.
Maybe we'll do red tennis shoes. I don't know, the next time the Olympics and the Super Bowl happens. And this is all you get. You're just getting headlines.
Yep. So stay tuned for our very interesting artifact about fascism later this week.
We won't have anything about Bad Bunny or the Paul brothers in that.
No.
As you grow,
all right. Are we done and dusted?
Your powers will fade as you grow. Your powers will fade as you grow old. You're on the make, and you don't do regret. You're always out for what you can get. You think like a snake, and you ooze like a snail. Let the trail go cold as you swallow your tail. With your low-rent skills and your heart of flint, telling your tales that are unfit to print. You're all weasel words, backed up by the boots, obsessed like the rest, with a promise of loot. Your pies will fade as you grow old. 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 You demanded the sea, it obey your commands. You grab at the land with both of your hands. But candles will burn, and time will reveal all that you've done and the money you steal. The suffering you're causing gives you no pause for thought. You've got your claws in the dead summer's heart. birds will return, as the birds always do. When they come home to roost, they'll feast on you. Your pies will fade as you grow old. Your pies will fade as you grow old. Your pies will fade as you